Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the 4 o'clock session. This should be hopefully your last session of the day, and I'm probably the only thing standing between you and happy hour later on for attendees. Hope to see you there. But yes, just checking that you are at Driving Successful Adoption of Microsoft 365 Copilot for SMBs. So my name is Tiffany Lee. I am a Customer Experience Product Manager, and I work in the Microsoft Customer Advocacy Group. If you've seen the keynote earlier, Caruana Gatimu, the pretty gal in pink earlier, so she's our manager, and then people on our team, including Daniel, Jesse, and Brian is in the back over here too as well. Alrighty. If you've been at the keynote or anywhere else in the world, you've heard Microsoft has a whole spiel and a lot of promotion on Copilot. So you've seen and heard the vision, right? A Copilot for every employee, an agent for every business process. And so we're making huge strides in delivering on this mission. And this session specifically today is for Copilot for small and medium businesses. And so you're not starting from scratch, right? If you didn't already know, the study shows that 79% of global SMB knowledge workers are already using some form of AI tools. And how do we get them to use AI in a safe and secure way with a trusted partner like Microsoft? And so we'd like to think of the different ways that you should start adopting Copilot today, with first getting access, so providing broad access to AI with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot scenarios, right? You would identify your target AI uses and success metrics of what you consider a win or small wins, and eventually to getting adoption company-wide for your Copilot journey. And then lastly, governance of easily managing Copilot and agents and more with the Copilot control system and Copilot analytics. So yes, I know this is the Eye Bleeder slide, but I do think this is a good one to screenshot, or if you wanted to download my slides later on. But essentially, this is our product lineup. One of the top questions I get probably for SMBs is, we have very many namings for our Copilot, and people want to know what's the free version, what's the paid version, and obviously they're named quite similar: Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, Microsoft 365 Copilot. And so I wanted to include this chart where it basically lines out what's included and what's not. But essentially, if you wanted to think of it as a nutshell, right, Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is that free version that you can access. They both can be accessed at copilot.microsoft.com, and I do have a pretty sort of introductory demo in this session where I can show you that. And essentially, the paid version of Microsoft 365 Copilot offers that enterprise-grade protection. So imagine if you're working with Copilot and you're asking it to reference maybe a PowerPoint you were working on, a document that you're working on. It's only shared within your company. You obviously don't want it to leak. So if you're working on, if you're uploading something to an outside AI, chat service, and you're uploading all your documents, there is a possibility it could get out there. But with the Microsoft 365 Copilot, especially the paid version, we have the enterprise-grade protection. So your documents, anything that you your conversations with Copilot, as well as any of your Microsoft 365 applications, PowerPoint, Excel, Word documents, etc., are also underneath the same protection, just like you would have in any other of your work documents. So that's one of the primary differences. But if you want to look at other differences, such as like agents and stuff, you can also just save this slide, because I think it is a good money slide for you to look at later on. All right, so right now I'm in my demo environment. We are in a company called Contoso, and the way that you would access this page is copilot.microsoft.com. So in copilot.microsoft.com, you would hover over to the left-hand side, and this is your chat area. You can also do search as well, but we're going to stay in chat for now. And so one of the main things that I like to get small and medium business customers to try out Copilot, I think a lot of them, they think it's daunting, right? There's so much that Copilot to do, they don't know where to start. And I always like just have them try out Copilot in each one of the interfaces to at least see what it can do for you. And that's also how you should probably get your users used to using Copilot. And I can get more into that on training and resource that you have. But first, what I like to do with Copilot every day is ask Copilot, hey Copilot, what are my meetings today? Like what are the meetings that I have today? So rather than me looking into my Teams and trying to figure out what's going on, they'll also highlight that for me by using Copilot Chat. So all right, I'm going into Copilot. Copilot's going to search my meetings today. gone ahead and entered the keynote that we saw, meeting with my team and team lunch, and I had a shift of the community lounge. But essentially, if you have more information in there, it will also tell you, like, if you're meeting with certain people, you have an agenda plan, and you can also conversate with Copilot on the different, things that you're doing today. And this would be really good for any of your C-level people or people that may just could use like a personal assistant in a way. Like, they have a lot of other things that they're doing. Maybe they're not there yet where they have like a secretary or someone there, but this will be a good just kind of a thing that they can basically try as someone that can summarize their day for them. All right. Something else that I would recommend customers to use is the / where you can reference a file within Copilot for work results. So let's say someone's asking me, maybe leadership is asking me a question on our latest release. And so I'm gonna reference the file. So you can reference any one of your files, PowerPoint documents, etc. But let's say I'm gonna ask this, Copilot, what is the target audience for this product? So Copilot, instead of me going into this 10-page, 20-page document and reading through all this, Copilot's going to go in there and basically look through what the target audience is, whatever your question may be, and give you this answer. And so you can actually go ahead and copy this response, or you can go ahead and share this prompt and copy with the response, or just send it to whomever is asking. So that's one way that I really like to use Copilot in reference to my files. So another thing I like to use is Copilot for Web, and this would be included in the free version as well, where it wouldn't be referencing any sort of your personal or your data in your Microsoft 365 environment. So in Copilot for Web, you can, one of the things that I like to ask it to do is, now we're all in Seattle, and I'm not sure how many of you are local or not local. If you flew in for the event, great. Seattle is actually really pretty during this time. But let's say you wanted to have Copilot basically help you summarize or create an agenda for this weekend. Maybe you're doing something fun this weekend. So you're gonna ask Copilot, hey, what are some fun things to do in Seattle this weekend? So Copilot, instead of you having to search for this, Copilot will return the results based on the different categories of things that you might be interested in. This is really good for someone, I'm not saying like elderly, but my mom loves using this because she doesn't have time to go look through a million different pages on the different cities she's traveling to, instead of the other Copilot, aka me, the daughter, looking through it and making her travel plans for her. I can actually ask Copilot to do it, and Copilot speaks different languages. At least we know it speaks Mandarin. So again, I can just have AI do a little bit more work for me, so I could do less and still be a good daughter. So yes, that's one way you can do it. Another thing that I like to recommend small, medium business customers to try out is basically having Copilot summarize pages for you or research for you. And a great way that they've been using it that I heard is for customer meetings. So for my small, medium business customers, a lot of them are consultants and they have to work with clients. And it's great to do some background research, right? Like, let's say if you're working, or if you're going to meet so-and-so from this company, you should do some background research on their 10K or how their company's doing, that person's history, if they're, somewhat famous or something. And so, for example, today we're going to be using Blue Bottle Coffee, Origin Story, right? So Blue Bottle Coffee, small bean business. Well, they started in the San Francisco area. Love their coffee. But yes, so if I were to be meeting someone in the Blue Bottle Coffee company, I don't really want to. I could, but I don't really want to read this long document. So what I'm going to do is go over to the right-hand side, click on the Copilot button. I was testing it to make sure it works earlier. But yes, I can ask Copilot, hey Copilot, summarize this web page for me. So, and then make sure that you have that web toggle on so that it can do that for you. And so whatever your page you're on, I've actually tried this with YouTube actually, and it works for YouTube as well. So let's say you have hour-long video, you don't have time to look through it. Jesse had a tip earlier for YouTube videos, you can like 2 times it, but let's say you don't even want to 2 times it, you just want to hear the main points. You can actually have Copilot look through the YouTube contents and basically summarize it for you, and it works. So tip on that. But yes, for this, the results returned, and it's basically a brief summary of the Blue Bottle Coffee webpage. You can scan through it so you don't have to read however long this article is. You can actually conversate with Copilot more about, coffee sourcing or maybe some awards that that this company has won, and et cetera, et cetera. But great way to basically do some customer research and save you a bunch of time. All right. So going over to the different applications of Copilot, which I think it's really fun, and one of the beauties of Copilot is that it's in all your Microsoft 365 applications. So first, within Word. Hopefully, if you haven't tried out Copilot in Word, definitely try it out. There's definitely different things that you can do, but probably my favorite is when you have a large document, right? And it's either a spec sheet or something that you're trying to put out, and rather than again, reading through the whole thing, when you do have a Copilot license enabled, you'll see it automatically generates at the top a brief summary of basically whatever document that you're looking at. One great thing that I will point out here is that within Copilot, you can hover over to the right-hand side, click on Copilot, and you can converse with Copilot, asking questions, of course. But there's also a great new part that we just added is called the Copilot Prompt Gallery. You can basically go into any of the Microsoft 365 apps, open up Copilot and click on that plus sign, click on View Prompts, and you're going to pull up the Copilot Prompt Gallery. The Copilot Prompt Gallery is essentially a Rolodex of different sort of prompts that you can use. So if you are not sure what prompts you can try to use with Copilot, definitely check out the Copilot Prompt Gallery. It's literally in the application itself with that plus sign. I really like that you can actually sort now by job type. So let's say if I'm in marketing, I can look through the different common marketing prompts, and if I do something similar, for example, if I most often write a customer success story, I do see a lot, or a FAQ sheet, I can go ahead and save those. And what's great is you can save those for later on, and you can actually share them as well. So if you click on this copy prompt link, you can share it with your colleague or someone in your team of a great prompt that they can use so that they could easily write a customer success story, value proposition, FAQ, and etc. So just great ways that you can easily access prompts. All right. So moving on to PowerPoint, one of the newer features that I am most impressed with within PowerPoint, obviously it can create, and edit your PowerPoints, but what I really like is that within PowerPoint, it can actually reference a file and from that file create PowerPoint slides for you. So I am not very artistic. I can probably draw 2 stick figures and that's about it. But before I probably rely on Designer and still have to spend a bunch of time and still spend a bunch of time typing up stuff. But what you can do now with Copilot is that you can go ahead and click on Copilot, and we can reference a file. So the first command is create a presentation from file. You can click on that, and we saw that Thunderbolt specification sheet earlier. We can go ahead and create a presentation from Thunderbolt. So what it's going to do in here is it's going to go in and just analyze the Thunderbolt documentation and create the different slides. So give it some time. Sometimes it takes a bit, and we're on conference Wi-Fi, so pray the demo gods are with us. But I really like showing this because rather than me going through each one of the pages of the documentations and trying to highlight the different points, at least Copilot creates a starting point for you where there's the different slides, you can edit it against it, you can edit to your liking. And for at least, I think it's much easier to edit against something rather than create something from scratch. All right, so there we go. It loaded. We have the Thunderbolt, Contoso Thunderbolt e-bike specification. So there we go. We have the agenda, introduction, and all these different slides on basically what they think are important to the PowerPoint that was included in the document that you've referenced, all in, probably, 30 seconds that we just spent in prompting it. So you can actually ask Copilot to do more. Let's say I don't like how the first picture is black and white. I kind of want a picture, right? So let's insert a picture of a e-bike into slide 1. So you can do more or less with it. If you wanted, like a summary slide, you can ask Copilot to create a summary slide and to slot it between slide and 4, for example. And let's try again. So yes, I really like that I can basically generate photos using Designer, put them into it. Oh, and it worked. I really like, they usually give you 4 different ones to choose from. So we're gonna go with this grassy green one, just to lift it up, and then you can click on insert right here and it'll insert it into slide 1 for you. Oh, I'm in the wrong slide, that's why. Oops. Let's go ahead, go back. Okay, insert. Perfect. So yeah, you can edit this to your liking. You can also use Designer. Let's say you like how Designer has made it versus how I made it. You can go ahead and use Designer as well to make it prettier. But yeah, this is how you would basically ask Copilot to reference a file, create a PowerPoint document, and then you would be able to edit it against your liking for Copilot. Alrighty, so last but not least, I wanted to go back to our PowerPoint right here to talk about the different sort of resources you have. And of course, if you wanted me to talk about anything else, feel free to ask. But yes, let's go back to our slides. All right, so the Copilot prompt gallery, you saw that earlier. You can access it within your Teams, your PowerPoint, et cetera, by that plus button. There's actually also a link actually in there. I should probably show you how to do that. But yeah, within Copilot, you can actually, within the application, you can actually basically ask it to pull up the web page where the prompt gallery would be, and there you go, that's where that is. And if you wanted to basically have the different prompts, you can as well. One more thing I actually wanted to showcase is one very valuable thing is within your Teams, you also have access to Copilot, Microsoft Copilot Academy. So what that is right now, even if you don't have a Copilot license, this Copilot Academy is available to all Microsoft 365 customers. So that's something that's quite new. I believe within the last couple months, it was a newer lift of restriction, and we basically just wanted folks to be able to access Copilot Academy for free, so that you know that when you want to train up your users, what sort of trainings that you would get to be sending them, or how they would basically get up and ramped up to Copilot. So this is completely free. As long as you have a Microsoft 365 license, you can access this within Viva Learning. You can also access it within your Teams and then Viva Learning. And then it's just on the left-hand side. But what Copilot Academy does is there's different sort of feature articles. So right now, the newer thing is agents, and I'm sure you heard a lot of agents in the previous sessions as well as the keynote, but there's some agents articles here, Copilot in Microsoft Teams and prompting. And then you can also, these are the different sort of learning paths that you can choose in order to skill up on Copilot. And even as an admin as well, you can go in here and look to see if you wanted to assign something to one of your users, how they would basically get started with Copilot and so on. So again, highly recommend everyone checking out this free resource, Copilot Academy within your Viva Learning. And you can also do that in Teams or as on the webpage as well. Okay. Going back to our slides. Right, so again, Copilot Academy reaches ROI quicker. If you don't already know, you're not the few using Copilot. I guarantee you, Copilot Academy. There's actually over 70,000 users already on Copilot Academy. There's tons of short form articles and 90% customer satisfaction score. Again, all free and within your app. So if you wanted to celebrate your Copilot investments or kind of poke your toes and dip your toes into what it'd be like when you assign training and what a person would need to learn in order to ramp up, then you can access Copilot Academy, that link right here. All right, if there's one thing I do want you to take away from this session today is the SMB Copilot Success Kit. Of course, there's a lot here, but the SMB Copilot Success Kit is on adoption.microsoft.com. This is a short link, but it's at ak.ms/Copilot SMB Success Kit. And actually the gal that's in charge of adoption.microsoft.com is in the back. Jessie, wave your hands. Yes, she is the Mrs. Adoption.microsoft.com and does it all. But whenever adoption.microsoft.com, we have a slide on this later on, but it is really a one-stop shop for all your Microsoft product needs. You should start there, venture out, and most often you'll find what you need there. But more specifically, the SMB Copilot Success Kit, in it, we have a quick start guide. We have a technical readiness on what you need basically to do to ramp up or start on Copilot, adoption guide for Copilot and agents. We have an implementation checklist, right? If one person wants someone from 1 to 10 or step 1 to 10, 1 to 20 on how exactly they should start their Copilot journey, that's what we would do, as well as some free onboarding email templates that you could copy, reuse, edit, etc. And one of our latest additions was last month, the Agent Starter Kit for small and medium businesses. In it, we have Copilot Agent IT setup and controls, get started with agents as a small and medium business. What I really like about our SMB Success Kit for agents is that compared to the enterprise one, we have basically how a small and medium business would get started on getting an Azure subscription, right? Most enterprises, they have a huge, or not huge, but an IT admin team at least, and they already have people that do that. But small, medium businesses, 1 woman, 10 employees, I mean, sometimes it does scale up to 300, but a lot of times you would need an Azure subscription to get your Copilot and your agent startup or your agent started. So again, just we're having that instruction in there to make it even easier for you step by step and be able to do that. So check out that aka.ms/Copilot SMB Success Kit for both the regular Success Kit as well as the Agent Starter Kit. Just a preview, so I could, tell you more about the Success Kit, is that one of the things that we, talk about in the Success Kit is the different sort of aspects when you are learning about, when you're ramping up to Copilot. And one of the things is basically having strong leadership. So how many of you, show of hands, has leadership support when, adopting Copilot, or your leadership is interested in Copilot at least? 1, 2, 3, perfect. A couple. I'm hoping to see more hands later on, but I'm glad you're interested. So yes, for leadership, hopefully they understand the ABCs, and this would be great. It's a great slide to at least send to your upper management so that they can run it up the ranks if so. But your leaders should be active and visible, right? They should take a committed role into the decision-making progress of the project. They should help by ensuring that there's buy-in and commitment from their executive peers, right? So if I know that if Brian told me to go try out some new product, I'd be like, Brian, I don't know, I'm not as good as you in different things. But if Mike Caruana and Adam from my leadership team says, hey, you need to check out Copilot, it's really important for our company's future outlook, for sure I'm going to do it. So again, just hearing it from your colleagues versus hearing it from your leadership, way different, and you're going to be able to more than likely listen to your leadership because they said it's important. Satya says something super important for our company, I'm definitely going to search it or being it that day versus if my colleague were to tell me something. I'm sorry, Brian, I'm just telling you. I would listen to you in other things though. But yes. So again, that's why having strong leadership is important. And in fact, if that executive sponsor or leader can actually lead or participate in an AI council, essentially tell their, other C-level or their other leadership peers, hey, we have to push Copilot in this aspect because it'll help us, accelerate sales or lessen costs, then again, that's just gonna be further promoting it to the employees of that company. Alrighty, weaving AI through. I have this slide because a lot of SMB, small medium business customers ask me, what's the Uber goal, right? Like I've tried prompting, I've tried, different little prompts, or, I kind of get what Copilot does, but where are we supposed to end up all this in all this? So I like to show them this slide, and for usually, you start with Copilot forming individual skills, right? You would try prompting in Word, you would ask summarize, you would try that, all the different things I showed earlier as quick wins in each of the different applications. Once you're good at that, then you move up departmentally, right? Everybody in your, 5 people, 6 people sales team, as a department would use Copilot to create a marketing plan for your marketing department, and you would use that marketing plan to sell that product, sales plan, so that everyone would give similar pitches for your product, right? So no one has like differences, just to really streamline how your department work together. And next, organizational skills. So you would create synergies across department, across a whole company. You're trying to push and launch that one product, or you're trying to push and promote that one service. So across departments, you would have synergies where you would have, using, like, for example, sales agents, sales chat to really push that product through and through using Copilot. So again, just organizationally, you'll think from the bottom up. As an individual, you get used to using Copilot, eventually use it as a department to create, a group or a team focused document, for example, and then organizationally or company-wide, you use Copilot as well. So these are the different things that you can try Copilot 1, 2, and 3. Again, Copilot Prompt Gallery we saw earlier, where you can try different skillings, and then the scenario library, which is also on adoption.microsoft.com, where you will basically use the different scenarios for, HR, marketing, sales, et cetera, and the different Copilot scenarios that you could use for that department. And then further on. So next, this is a part of the presentation for admins. So if you aren't an admin, it's okay. You can still send this to your admin just for food for thought. But essentially, organizational message notifications within Copilot for Copilot in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. You would go to Reports, Organizational Messages, Create Message, Adoption. In it, there's already some pre-canned messages. However, it'd be really great if you can also create your own messages. Let's say you wanted to promote everyone, marketing department, try out, creating a sales report within Copilot. You can send that prompt within Microsoft 365 Admin Center, or you can use one of our pre-canned prompts. So this is really great, and it basically allows you to drop a quick notification message into your user's device, whether it's on the lock screen, taskbar, or other spots. And it's been a great way to grab a user's attention, and we've seen it basically have high click rates because you're the one sending it in your company. Alrighty, and if you're kind of underwater and you don't have the time to create the messages or do really think about what things you want to do, we also have other ways that we can support your enablement. So in the Admin Center, you can also go into settings, org settings, Microsoft comms to users, and then you can check that checkbox. And what this means is that there is going to be Microsoft communication to your users, and of course you can also look at what this is. And what this is that there's these different sort of emails that you can approve or not approve, such as welcome email, adoption email, and these are just the different emails in order to engage your users using Copilot. They're pre-canned, you can look at it, you can, it'll basically streamline the process for you so you don't have to initiate the communications yourself and really free you up to do other tasks. All right, so if you wanted to take action today, we have Prepare for Deployment. You can check out aka.ms/Copilot SMB Success Kit. That's a Rolodex of different things, and take for whatever you will. You don't have to follow it one-on-one, but it's definitely lots of free information on there about basically how to implement Copilot. And I've seen a lot of different companies, they'll come and take our content, edit it. We purposely make most of our things on there editable so that you can slap your own logo on it. You can change things as you like, but at least you don't have to start from scratch, because I did hear one company, I think 2 conferences ago, they came up and told me that they were making their own Copilot content because they didn't know how else to do it and they didn't know all the free content on there. Please don't do that. We already do it like hours of work and we created it for you. Edit it to your liking, but don't create it from scratch because it's quite painful to do all that from scratch. So feel free to use our content. You can engage our users at aka.ms/Copilot Academy, which I showed earlier, and then adopt new habits where you can try out different prompts and discover different prompts that you have not basically tried yet. So hopefully with all that, I just want to iterate that implementing and adopting Copilot should be a little bit easier, and most of all, shouldn't be overwhelming. Just try it out, download our Success Kit, and pick and choose what you will at it. All right, so next, if you're more of a instructor-led, hands-on learner, you like to be in a class format, and you like to have someone like talking to you for you to ask questions from, we actually have Customer Hub. So what Customer Hub is basically, there's different flavors of Customer Hub. There's Customer Hub for Copilot, Customer Hub for different Microsoft 365 products, but specifically for Copilot, these are some live instructor-led free sessions that you can attend feel free to check out that link, aka.ms/customer hub sessions. If you are not available for these sessions, they are actually recorded and you can watch them on demand at your own pace. Like Jesse said, 2 times it, 1.5 times it at your own speed. But this is really for someone that just prefers in the class format. It's 100% free, and it's not just like fundamentals as well. There's advanced prompting. There's different aspects of Copilot. Just look at the agenda and pick and choose which session you like. But again, we provide all these different resources like printouts, PowerPoints, a kit, or live learning format for whichever you like, or learn at your pace like Copilot Academy. All right, so for news and community content, if you wanted to just keep up to date, because there's a lot of Copilot and there's a lot of updates, of course, we do have a curated page on adoption.microsoft.com called ak.ms/copilot/SMB. And so that is a one-stop shop for all your Microsoft 365 Copilot content, specifically for small, medium businesses. If you go to the main page for Copilot adoption, that's mainly geared towards enterprise, right? But for small, medium businesses, like we're aware that you may not have an IT admin, you may not have that many IT admin workers that are basically helping you set up Copilot or have like a bajillion licenses. And we know that it takes time. You need to ramp up with a couple users. And so that's really where the mindset of all this is from. And we curate our content on the page specifically for Copilot for SMB on this page. Next, if you wanted to engage with other small and medium business customers, there is the Microsoft Tech community at aka.ms/copilot/SMB community. And there you can ask your colleagues questions, right? So you can ask your fellow SMB colleagues what they're trying or what's popular with them when they're trying Copilot. And if you haven't visited the Microsoft Tech community yet, you should. It is like 30 seconds to create an account, and how I like to describe it, and hopefully, somebody correct me if I'm wrong with my team, but how I like to basically think of Microsoft Tech community is almost kind of like a Reddit, but all for Microsoft topics, right? So you can go in there and more. So you can go in there, you can ask folks questions, you can post your own questions, but there's more. You can discover events on there, blogs on there. Anytime we have a product release, most often than not, there is a blog on there on a Microsoft Tech community. So great way to stay up to date and talk to your colleagues about the topic you're interested in on there. All right, so if you haven't been to our other sessions, and hopefully you have, but if you haven't, myself and Jesse, we are the leaders of the Champions community, and the Microsoft 365 Champions community. And what we hold, and this is great, hopefully you join, but we are about 50+K subscribers strong, and our monthly calls vary about 700-800 people. So definitely lots of people from around the world are in these calls. And essentially what these calls are is monthly calls, 4th Tuesday every month. We do 2 iterations, one at, if we're in the Pacific time zone, one at 8 to 9 a.m., and 5 to 6 p.m. And so these 2 times is when we do our live calls, and we bring in different sort of Microsoft topics. So let's say if there's a new release, we bring in, Teams chat and channels. It's not just Copilot. We have Teams chat and channels, we have Outlook, we have SharePoint flexible sections. That was a new feature recently. So again, we also listen to our requests as well from our group. So if you want to see a certain product group come in, we can go and invite that product group to come on to talk to us and demo their product. You can have direct interaction with them and ask them questions, or there's a big issue, you want someone's attention, be great, and you see like they're coming onto a Champions call, then you can come on and ask them that question. And what's great about our call is, again, we make all our content accessible, and we publish our PowerPoints. All our PowerPoints are fully editable. You can basically edit against it, and if you can use our content and publish it monthly to your Champions group or your user group or the small group within your company, however you like. We actually do have quite a number of customers doing that within the US, within the US government, as well as folks in UK as well. They started their Champions program modeling after hours, where they would just take our content every month. I not only do invite that product manager to come and talk about that product or do a demo of that product, but I also bring top Microsoft 365 updates. There's so much going on in the Microsoft world. So I take top 5 updates and I do those updates every month. And then obviously I link to the links where you can learn about those. But again, tons of great resources. We published our Champions Calls also on YouTube on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube, so you can watch that also for free on YouTube. But if you wanted our exclusive resources, exclusive to the Champions program, we do have all that, PowerPoints, as well as all of the 7-8 years past of recordings that we've had in the past. So great way to interact with others, interact with myself as well. And yeah, interact with the product that you're most interested in. Okay, so you might have seen this slide from other sessions if you got other sessions today, but highly recommend if you wanted to talk to me about any one of these things, such as the Microsoft Tech Community, Microsoft Global Community Initiative, user enablement, what Microsoft Learn maybe versus academies, et cetera, or your next community call. If you can find another event like this, if you wanted to find another event like this to attend next time, you would all go to communitydays.org. So these are all QR codes that link directly to that. Again, talked about that earlier, adoptiontomicrosoft.com. Hopefully you get join a community call. Hopefully you join our Champions Calls, communitydays.org if you wanted promotion for your events, or you can find out your next event that you want to attend. And then, of course, you can ask questions in the community forum. And then adoption.microsoft.com. Again, that's Jessie's baby right here, but she is Mrs. of adoption.microsoft.com. Again, anything that you want to learn about Microsoft, if you just wanted to learn more about, hey, what is this new product called Copilot, or what is this new, what is the latest on Teams, for example. There is most things Microsoft, not all things Microsoft on there, and it's at adoptionmicrosoft.com. Alrighty, so that is adoptionmicrosoft.com. And if you want to learn specifically about Copilot resources, this is adoption.microsoft.com/Copilot. This is more geared towards enterprise. Of course, it's still applicable to you in many ways, but again, for all your Copilot needs, start at adoptionmicrosoft.com. I believe there's somewhere in there, if you're SMB, it'll also link you to SMB as well. So there's also a class on user enablement, and you can also take that MS 4007 enablement. And then last but not least, if you do like to, stay informed in a live format, perhaps it's not Copilot focused, and you prefer like a LinkedIn style or maybe a show host style. If you notice these two wonderful gals right here, Caruana is the host, is the keynote speaker, and then Heather Cook is hopping around, but she's one of the producers of this event. They both hold a show called Mondays at Microsoft with Caruana and Heather. I believe it's every other Monday, and there is a show next Monday as well. And this is basically like a fireside style chat, right, where they basically talk to each other about the latest update and share with you all. So that's over like a cup of coffee if you're in the Pacific Coast time. I think it's at 8 in the morning as well. But essentially, they just talk over in a fireside style chat about the latest updates within the Microsoft community, whether it's a new release, whether there's something going on, a great event you can attend. Not to mention both Mondays at Microsoft as well as the Champions program, we give exclusive discount codes to upcoming events. So if you subscribe, if you join our program, you'll get our newsletters, Champions program's newsletters, and if you watch their show, you'll also get exclusive content on, discount codes and such. And so, yeah, you can do that and watch Mondays at Microsoft if you wanted to stay up to date. But they basically found it so difficult to keep up, even ourselves, so difficult to keep up with stuff. So they decided they're going to do the work. They're going to congregate all this information within Microsoft in a bi-weekly consumable format and present it to you in a nice consumable way on LinkedIn. So feel free to check out the Microsoft Community LinkedIn, engage with this on there. So it'd be great. Right, that's the last of my slides. Thank you so much. I'm happy to take questions. And yeah, if you don't have questions, stay for a couple of questions. Feel free to come. But if you don't have questions, I'm happy to give you all 19 minutes back, and you can go to the happy hour. And yeah, so hopefully enjoy the session today. Appreciate it.